They signed the treaties in good faith, and the ink was still wet when the soldiers came. They walked the frozen trail with children in their arms. Kill the Indian, save the man. The schools took the children and burned the language. The treaty bore the signatures in peace, the ink still glistening with their release. But before the quill had dried upon the lease, the soldiers came with bayonets to collect on promises and debts. The Cherokee were driven from their land, with children's fingers frozen to the hand. The 1,000-mile grave at the command of men who signed their names in law and left the bodies for the thaw. The boarding school received the stolen child. The hair was cut, the native tongue reviled. Kill the Indian and save the men, they smiled. The name his mother gave was burned. A Christian name was what he earned. The treaties torn in haste, the children laid to waste. The language burned away, the trail remembers gray. The trail through winter snow remembers all the treaties broken. Every child enthralled a land that was not theirs to give or take. Remembers every promise they would break. The trail remembers the frozen and the dead, the Cherokee who walked where soldiers led. The trail remembers the children renamed the language that was stolen and defaced. The trail remembers the ink that bled away. The ground itself will testify today. The land was taken parcel by the deed. The buffalo were slaughtered for the greed. The reservations planted like a seed of poverty and poisoned well. The ghost dance and the final shell. At Wounded Knee the snow ran red with blood of women and of children in the mud. The 7th Cavalry had understood their orders from the men in coats who never heard the death rattle notes. The sacred hills were hollowed out for ore, the pipelines carved across the ancient floor. The treaties broken by the men who swore upon the book they claimed to keep, while native mothers learned to weep. The snow remembers red, the children and the dead. The land is not yet fled. The trail through winter snow remembers all the treaties broken. Every child enthralled the land that was not theirs to give or take. Remembers every promise they would break. The trail remembers the frozen and the dead, the Cherokee who walked where soldiers led. The trail remembers the children renamed the language that was stolen and defaced. The trail remembers the ink that bled away. The ground itself will testify. The ship sailed from Elmina's door with cargo bound in skin and chain. 2 million bodies in the deep. The auction block awaited them. 400 years the whip spoke. The ships departed from the Gold Coast surf as the waves have kissed. They counted not the souls but only tonnage, the human cargo written on the page of bondage, invisible as profit in the homage that every merchant paid to greed. The ledger bled and would not read. The hold was dark and stifling with the dead who suffocated in the iron bed. The sharks had followed where the blood was bled. The living and the corpse lay chained together in the dark remained. The deep received the bones, the ocean floor the groans, 2 million silent tones. The ocean floor remembers what was thrown, the bodies that the slave trade called its own. The deep has kept the witness of the hold, a testimony that will not grow cold. The deep remembers the bodies in the chain. The Atlantic is a graveyard of the slain. Deep remembers the children torn apart, the auction block that broke the human heart. Deep remembers 400 years of grief. The ocean floor will testify belief. The auction block stood in the morning sun and split the mother from her only son. The bidder bought them both but kept the one and shipped the other far away. No record of her name today. The cotton field stretched to the burning sky. The overseer's whip gave no reply to why a child should live or why should die. The back was scarred, the hands were bled. The labor built the nation's bread. Jim Crow sat on the courthouse steps and grinned. The chain gang worked while justice stood and sinned. The rope hung from the tree limbs in the wind. A postcard of the lynching sold. The photograph is growing old. The auction block is cold. The story has been told. The ocean floor holds. The ocean floor remembers what was thrown, the bodies that the slave trade called its own. The deep has kept the witness of the hold, a testimony that will not grow cold. The deep remembers the bodies in the chain. The Atlantic is a graveyard of the slain. The deep remembers the children torn apart, the auction block that broke the human heart. The deep remembers 400 years of grief. The ocean floor will testify belief.
The poppy bloomed in India's soil, and the empire sailed it east. The Chinese sky was thick with smoke, while Congo's children lost their hands for rubber quotas and the white man's gold. make the golds of poppies harvested for profits' molds. The emperor forbade the trade, the gunboats came and were obeyed. A nation drowned in smoke for silver tea. The empire said that freedom was the key, but freedom was the right to make gun free. The addicts in the ports of Canton were profit for the London canton. The Second War, the summer palace burned, and every lesson that the Chinese learned was that the foreign devil never turned from forcing poison down the throat of anyone who rocked the boat. The poppy bloomed and empire sailed the sea to drug a sleeping nation into fear. The opium of the masses was the key that Britain turned inside the lock, while Mandarin surveyed the shock. Across the world the Congo bled alone. Leopold had claimed the river as his own. A nation turned into a private zone of rubber quotas and the lash, the severed hands for every stash. The soldiers brought the baskets full of hands to prove the bullets were not wasted bands. The children watched their fathers lose their lands, and then their fingers and their breath. The Congo was a living death. The cocoa and the tea, the sugar cane, the coffee and the cotton and the grain were harvested by bodies on the chain of empires that had spread their flags, while workers died in factory rags. False prophet demiurge, the signal bloomed on every poppy field that empire doomed. The lacklight dressed as progress and presumed that history would forget the hand that bled to build the wealthy land. The severed hand remains, the poppy in the veins. The empire's crimson stains. The hand remembers what the harvest stole. The poppy and the rubber and the soul. The opium of empire was the lie. The hand remembers and will testify. The hand remembers, severed for the yield. The rubber and the poppy and the field. The hand remembers what the empires took is written in the blood-soaked ledger book. The hand remembers every child and slave. The earth itself will witness from the grave. The trains ran east through winter snow to stations that had no name. went into the ash, and still the world has not yet answered. The cattle cars were waiting at the ramp, the winter cold, a single oil lamp. The SS sergeant with his rubber stamp, a name became a numbered wrist and vanished in the freezing mist. The gates of Auschwitz opened to receive the trainloads of the souls who would not leave. The architects of death had learned to weave efficiency with cruelty, industrialized eternity. The ovens burned through winter and through spring. The ash fell like a silent offering upon the Polish soil that felt the sting of every human soul consigned to smoke because the world was blind. The shoes were piled in mountains by the gate, the spectacles that tried to see their fate, the hair they sheared to make the soldiers plate, the gold teeth pried from the dead to fill the Reichsbank's coffers fed. Armenia had walked before the war, the death march to the Syrian desert floor. The Ottoman had settled up the score with Christians who had dared to be a people and a memory. The killing fields of Cambodia drank deep, the skulls of Rwanda in the shallow steep, Srebrenica where the promises would sleep, the century of the mass grave where broadcast said there's none to save. The children of the Shoah still remain in photographs that carry every name. The gas could not erase the human frame of what was loved before the train arrived in Poland with the rain. False prophet demiurge, the signal lied that some were less than human and had died. The black lie organized the genocide, but every number on the skin bears witness to the lie within. The ashes in the air, the number written there, the snow remembers where. The ash remembers what the fire took, the names the ovens wrote inside the book, the trains that ran through winter to the gate. Remember every soul and every fate. The ash remembers 6 million in the snow, the names the fire tried to not bestow. The ash remembers the children and the old, the stories that the winter never told. The ash remember the numbers on the skin, the witness of the dead will not give in.
In her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all who have been slaughtered on the earth, from Abel's crimson cry to the last unknown grave.
The blood of Abel cried out from the soil, the first to testify beneath the toil. And every murder since has joined the coil, the witness of the slaughtered ones arising from a billion suns. The Cherokee upon the frozen track, the African who never made it back, the Chinese addict in the opium shack, the Jew who walked into the gas, the Armenian in the mountain pass. who was not counted on the scene of every massacre the broadcast bin. The names the empire tried to hide are gathered now and cannot hide. The ledger of the Lamb contains the great I am, and every slaughtered lamb is written in the plan. The blood of all the slaughtered testifies that truth was never conquered by the lies. The logos knew each name before the fall, and gathers every drop of blood and gold. Every name, the ledger opens wide. No empire deep enough to make them hide. Every name, the trail and deepened hand, the ash of every persecuted land. Every name, the blood of all the slain, is written where the truth shall rise again. The grave unknown, the body never found, the infant stillborn on the auction ground, the martyr in the catacomb unbound, the prisoner whose name was scrubbed, the family in the forest shrub. The broadcast of the beast said none would know the names of those who perished in the snow. The lacklight promised that the grave would grow over the memory of the dead, but every name is known instead. The primal mover of the universe is truth and liberty that will not curse. The ones the beast had counted as its purse are written in the book of light, and every name shall see the sign. That truth was never